Welcome along. This is the watercolour we're doing. It's for a child's bedroom, a small child's bedroom, and that can be framed. I suggest for something like that, perhaps a white frame, a nice clean white frame around it. So just starting off with some water. I've just sped this part up, putting the water on, just to make the paint flow a little bit better. And slightly slower now. So you can see, we've just really saturated the paper there. I usually use 300 GSM paper, but I bought some watercolour paper. It's 100% cotton, but I ended up getting 200 and I didn't realise, should have looked more carefully, because I usually use the 300. I find that anything below 300 tends to buckle, and you can see it waving there already, the paper. So when I finished this, I ended up putting it, once it dried completely, I ended up putting it under a couple of books, heavy books, and that flattened the painting out. So you can see I'm just tilting and blending the colours there. Olive green I'm using there. Bit more olive green in some areas there. I don't want anything to be precise or standing out, just diffused into the background. And when we eventually paint some of the foliage, that will be almost the same. It'll stand out, but it'll be half clear and half diffused, the foliage. Just fix that part up there, just bring it out a bit more. So I'm just painting the line now, using a burnt umber. That's the lion's mane. As you can see, I'm just getting the variation in intensity in the colour there. So you can see it's a lot darker near where the lion's face is. Now I'll go back to that, but I'm actually painting a rhinoceros now. Very loose watercolour, as I said, for a child's bedroom, and this, you could have a nice white frame around this. This is actually going to a child's bedroom, by the way. That's why I've done this, and I've already got the frame ready for this to go into. A frame really does dress your painting, your watercolour paintings up. So I know it's an expense to frame your watercolour painting, and you can't frame all of them, I understand that, but if you've got a couple of special ones that you like, consider getting a frame for them. So just a lighter colour there, a little bit of yellow ochre, and some more of that burnt sienna in some places. I'll dab that back with a tissue, some of that. There we go. And I'll continue that. I still will continue that face. Haven't finished yet. So we'll let some of that dry. So this is the elephant now. So I penciled all of these animals in, as you can see. And with watercolour, after it's dried, I don't even worry about the pencil marks in watercolour. I leave them there. So if people can see pencil marks in watercolour, it doesn't really matter. I think it looks really arty and modern just to leave those original pencil marks in there. Don't try and rub them out, especially after you've done the watercolour painting. You'll ruin the painting. So you can see I've sped this up. I don't paint that fast, but I've sped this up. You still get a really good idea, but I don't want you sitting there for an hour or so. Yellow ochre now. If your paint starts to bleed, just get a tissue and just dab it. I'll go back to that giraffe, painting in the zebra, or zebra, some people call them. You can see how that paper is really wavy and buckling. That's the 200 GSM paper I was telling you about that I bought by mistake. I usually use 300 GSM, nothing below 300 GSM. That's what I normally use. So anyway, I'm painting on this paper and I find anything below 300 GSM more of a challenge to work on because of what you can see there in front of you, how it buckles and waves. So when I'm finished, I will put this painting under a book, under some heavy books, and I'll put some protective paper just over the artwork so the books don't mark the painting as well when I put some books on it, and then it should straighten out quite well. So I'm just highlighting some of the, the edges around the giraffe there. Just with some darker burnt umber there. There's some darker burnt umber in here, marking the markings on the giraffe. Very simple, childlike animals for a child's bedroom. More on the elephant. Marking in the face. Always good to have a roll of paper beside you. Just some paper toweling I have beside me in a roll there, just to keep, you know, you can put your brush on there and take some water out of your brush by using that paper toweling. And it's always good to rip some off and have it handy to catch some loose paint or perhaps stop some paint from bleeding a bit. Using some sap green, SAP, sap green there for those leaves. I'll also be using some dark leaf green, there's some sap green there going on there now as well. See some plants there. You can see how they're not precise, but you can make out that they are some plants. Just fixing up that little elephant there. Fixing up the giraffe. Just soften the edge there, see? Now some of this greenery, some foliage, some plants coming down from the top of the page. Using a dark leaf green for these. So for the green, I've got a combination of olive green, sap green, and dark leaf green. How's that looking now? And we'll add some white as well in there as well. So I'll get some white gouache and just flick it around in the middle there where all that foliage is. So very simple for a child's bedroom. And I've got a nice white frame to put this in, and it's all dry. And I've flattened it in between some books. Bit of white gouache there. Just some colour in there. Could be some little berries or flowers or something. Some yellow there. And I think we'll just finish off with flicking some white gouache through the middle area. And that'll give it some really nice texture there. Could almost look like some light is poking through when we get that white gouache on there. And I'll show you that when we're finished, what it looks like. So just get some white gouache on a brush, and just carefully flick it in the area where you want it. Sometimes you can put some paper over areas where you don't want the splashing of the white paint. There we go. Just adds a little bit of interest there. And I'll be adding more of that, and you'll be able to see that I have added more white, flicking more white in the middle there. You'll see that when well, you'll see that on the photograph in the beginning of this video, actually, before you play the video. You should see it at the end here as well on the final reveal. So I've got some really tight tape on here. I'm just using simple masking tape. There we are. So there's one of the final reveal there. Yeah, and if you, as I said before, there is more white in the middle of that painting there that I flicked on, and you'll see that at the beginning. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Back soon with another watercolour.